Hey, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Hope you had a great weekend. Let's see here. What's going on in the charts? We've had a great response, a great past few weeks here, up over $4,000. Here's all the trades that we took. Let's open this up and let's just go over. So very nice, right? A very nice profit margin, right? And you can see, this is realistic, guys. This is the realistic view of what everything should look like. So don't get discouraged if you see a loss. You can clearly see here within the last 3 weeks, right? That we're over we're over 10% within 3 weeks. Okay, so it's small loss, small win, small loss, small win, big win. That's what it looks like. So don't get discouraged. When you're going through your trading challenge. Hey, good morning, everybody. Krishna and Gran, Frank. Happy birthday, Frank. Today's Frank's birthday, everybody. So when you're going through your process and you're looking at your data, you're looking at your data and you're saying, oh wow, look, I took all those losses there. Look at these losses. It's not just one or two. Look, here's what we've been doing, right? The very first, right? Can you imagine taking a loss, right, on your very first trade of the challenge? And that's what happened here. Look, minus $90, right? Then nice big win, 700. Then a tiny loss, $25, 182, like 2 losses in a row, right? But then you had 2 big wins in a row. Small loss, big win, small win, small loss, huge win, right? Caught a runner. Like that's how it looks, right? Now, we know that we're going to be profitable. We know that we're going to be profitable after a series of trades. Not just after, like, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4 trade. We took 4 trades. One was a big winner, and the other 3 were small losers, right? There's no way to tell the sequence of wins and losses. There's no mathematical formula to show you the sequence of wins and losses, right? You can only see, or you can only figure out what the average is, right? I mean, and it's very clear. It's very clear to see. So this is called forward testing. This is called forward testing. Back testing is when you, what back testing. And back testing is when you look at the data this way. You go to a chart and you put your entries and targets in, and you go back in the data. You scroll back and you say, all right, I'm going to go back 3 months and I'm going to take trades, and I'm going to mark everything off and record the data. That's back testing. Forward testing is when you do like a trading challenge, like we do here. You say, all right, let's put this to the test. So once your data starts looking like this in your simulator, then you can go ahead and move forward into the live account. Okay. What's this? Do you place bracket order or just place order manual close? Right. So we like to do both, right? Bracket orders are great, and bracket order meaning you've got your you've got your stop loss, right? Like let's say our stop loss down here. There's your stop loss. There's your entry. Hits 2 to 1. Then we take that stop loss and we bring it up here, right? And then as we're getting close to the extended trend, then we start looking for targets, right? So the order is bracketed. We've got a target here, and our stop loss is like right here, right? And we kind of bracket the order so that if price hits this bar, great, we get taken out for the target, and then if it pulls back, then we get stopped out. Yes, absolutely, 100%, Krishnan. Yeah, so that's the best way to go between stop loss and target. Absolutely, 100%. And I highly suggest practicing that. I like practicing that. Like if we were in this trade, here's where the stop loss would be, right? And moves up, pulls back, new structure high, right? You come here, put your stop loss there. Now right here, look what happened. We were in that fifth wave, candles, right? Make another move up. So you take your stop loss, put your stop loss right there. And at this point, like right here, what we would do is we would take that target, right? And we would put it right there. Take your stop loss. And what does it do? It pulls back and it hits the target. And then, okay, and if we didn't take that target, it would just pull back and it would take us out here. So yeah, I think that's a great process to practice. And you just remember, you always move that stop loss on, you move the stop loss on that new structure high, right? New structure high, great. Pulls back, breaks above here, breaks above right there. Now you can move this, right? Pulls back and doesn't quite make it, right? It just barely breaks above, there, in which case you would move. As long as it breaks above, right? Then you move that stop loss, and you just keep doing that. And that is what, now that's the risk management part, right? And then this data here, this is all just following TrendCloud, right? This is all just following TrendCloud. Great. Okay, so let's see what's going on. It is 10 after 9. Let's go take a look here at gold. Take a look at the metals, because the metals are open. And we always start with that high time frame, right? Micro gold, we're in an uptrend. So we're in an uptrend. We're early in that uptrend, right? 1, we just crossed the 50. That marks the 1. Pulls back. Okay. So 1, 2, and it's making that third move up, right? So we've got breaking above that 200 and 100 simple. We have to assume uptrend. We're pulling back into some kind of support. Let's take a look at the support right here on the 4-hour chart. This is what it looks like on the 1-hour chart. So we're looking at that 50. We're looking at that 50 inside of the trend cloud on the high time frame. pulling into that area now on the 15-minute chart, right? Pulling into that area. So you see, what you have to get good at is actually understanding how price is moving inside of TrendCloud. That's how you have to look at this. And that's all we do, right? That's really all we do. We're looking at the high time frame and we're saying, okay, let's just look at it like, let's take these off for a second here. We're just looking at TrendCloud on the highest time frame to get a fix on price, right? This is right now. This is us right now. Uptrend, right? Candles are green. TrendCloud is green. 50 simple is green. That's all you're thinking right now. Where can I rejoin the uptrend? And the first part of your process, is to simply look for which way is the trend going and where is the bounce off point, right? Where is the support level that price is going to bounce off of and continue? Draw a little picture. This is very possible, right? That's kind of like what we're looking for, right? Let's make everything black, right? Pulls into TrendCloud, moves out of TrendCloud. Here it went a little bit below, right? Is it gonna do something like this? Right? Come back, hit that 50 and then move up? Yeah, it can. So we simplify our trading strategy by looking at one time frame first, and that's the highest time frame. We look at the highest time frame and we say to ourselves, okay, what are some of the possibilities here? TrendCloud is your perfect guide because it works, right? I mean, here we went sideways, but it's still for a while. Oh, excuse me. But for a while, it did react, right? It's nice to look at a trend like this for the example, and then you can get complicated and come up and make other observations, right? But we're demonstrating with TrendCloud that this is what happens. Break above TrendCloud. Start is the start off point. 1, 2, sideways. Sideways movement landed inside of TrendCloud. The pullback here landed inside of TrendCloud. And then it made a move up. Okay, we just broke through structure here. Where's the next move? Well, it's going to pull back and probably hit some kind of support level. Previous resistance, right? Resistance, break of resistance, pulls back, hits that resistance level, move up. Pulls back into TrendCloud and doesn't quite make it. Okay, we seem to be having a breakdown here on that fourth wave, and then boom, breaks through TrendCloud, right? Take a look at the head and shoulders here, right? This is a head and shoulders the pattern that we don't really like, but it ended up working anyway. So you see how remember when we said when you draw out a head and shoulders, you really want the head and shoulders, to look like this, where that last shoulder is below this first shoulder, right? This is the more powerful pattern to a reversal. But this was the pattern right here. And it ended up working anyway. So you'll never know. You will never know. So just just understand that. But the main point that I'm trying to make is that we have to understand how price moves within that trend cloud, because that's what's going to give us our strategy. This pulled all the way back to the 50, made the move down, pulled into TrendCloud and made some back and forth moves, pulled back up, broke above 50, and then ripped all the way back down. Okay. That's the more unusual. The unusual price action, you're never going to know. You're never going to know exactly what's going on. But the majority of the time, it pulls back into that trend cloud and makes a move down. And the average move, or the average wave that happens, is 5, right? 5 waves in an average trend. And when you start to see an extended trend, oh, look at that, 7th wave. Look at how nicely price pulled into trend cloud, made a move up, pulled into trend cloud, made a move up. Uh-oh, extended trend. Get ready. Something's about to happen here. Just verbalizing that every day and understanding price movement within TrendCloud is imperative, because as you're pulling back into the TrendCloud right here, as you're pulling back into the TrendCloud, you know that we've got to start looking at this on those lower time frames. So what do we like to do? Well, we like to look at a shift in momentum, right? On that CCI, pulls back into trend cloud as that middle time frame CCI is still above positive 100. That's powerful, right? We love that. And then we start to see cycling up, right? We start to cycle up on that high time frame. Momentum starts turning green. We've got a momentum above positive 100 on the CCI. Great. Let's start looking for those demand zones on the low time frame inside of that trend cloud, right? That is so important, because that is your whole strategy. The strategy is to constantly build your case for entry. And that is what this is all used for. It's a visual representation of what price is going to do. That's your trend cloud. It's a visual representation of what price is going to do. From our previous observations. So what's going on here? Recalculate. So we're in an uptrend, and it has pulled back into our trend cloud on that high time frame. Okay, we're still in an uptrend on the 1 hour. We're starting to cross below negative 100, right? So we're pulling back, on that 1 hour pretty deep. In a perfect world, what do we want to see? Maybe we want to see a little sideways movement here like this, and we get a break above that positive 100. We start to hook up. Momentum starts turning green, right? That's the perfect storm there. And then inside of that 15-minute chart, we can start finding, we can start finding some kind of zone inside, but it hasn't been formed yet, right? That is the thought process. And it's a great thought process because look, it works. It works, right? We just have to be patient sometimes. So over $4,000 in 3 weeks. Okay. It works. We're doing it. We're not just taking anything, right? We're using TrendCloud strategy. This is it. It works. So we have to continue to do that. Hey, good morning, Mariana. Good to see you. All righty. Sometimes it's important to go over why you're using your trade plan, and just to go over your trade plan in general, right? So so the story is we've got an uptrend on the high time frame, an uptrend on the middle time frame, but momentum's really not on our side, right? And when momentum is not on your side, something like this could happen, right? Oh, it's moving up and then womp womp. It wants to go deeper. When momentum is against you, all that means, you're like here, we're in an uptrend, middle time frame. We're in an uptrend, high time frame. Great. Momentum is against us, which means price might want to go deeper. Okay? Momentum is telling you the energy of the price action. The trend is telling you the general direction of the price action. So the direction is up and the momentum is down. So momentum is telling you, like, you know what? We might want to go deeper. We're not quite liking this area. We're kind of thinking more of this. We're kind of thinking more down here. Okay. That's what it's telling you. So TrendCloud, the whole TrendCloud system is telling you, you know what? We've got these uptrends and we've got, we're inside of the TrendCloud here, but momentum is, is down. And that's another piece of the puzzle. And that is price telling you, you know what? We like it in here, but we may want this area. Okay. We may want to retest where all of this began. And that's exactly what this area is representing, right? Here's rally-based rally that broke structure, started all this. We may want to retest this area. Okay. Right in here. Do we know for sure? No, you never know for sure. Look at how, look at that rejection candle right there, right? Rally-based rally, pulls back, hits that demand zone, takes off, pulls into TrendCloud, breaks above and pulls back really deep, retest. Big move up, right? This seems to be an area of interest here. The candles are telling me that. The candles are simply telling me that, right? And I just put together another mini course, guys. I will send it out to everybody as soon as I get out of here. I promise it's all finished. I'll send that out to you at lunchtime. Okay. It's a little mini course on reading price action waves and formations. Okay. And then putting it all together. Another little mini course, a refresher for you guys. Send it to somebody that you think would like it. It's a great little mini course, 3-part series. Okay. And I made the videos about 10 minutes long. So it's not something, it's not something that's, like it's not an hour video. It's not a 1 hour video on, a lot of detail. I think it's good to break up stuff like that, smaller videos. So yeah, so there you go. That's gold seems to be retesting this area here, and the candles are telling us that, and momentum is letting us know, by the way, I know we've pulled back into TrendCloud here on the high time frame, but we may want to retest this area, and momentum is telling us that. All right. So really, really nothing to do here quite yet. Okay. Oh, let's take a look at ADR checkpoints. Pretty far away, right? Pretty far away from any ADR checkpoint. This thing still has a lot of room to run. Opening range. There we go. Okay. So opening range has broken out to the downside on that 15-minute chart. So it's breaking out in the direction of momentum. But we're in an uptrend, right? We really like to filter our trades so that we get results like this, right? We want results like this. We want consistent results that are good and that make money. That's why we filter, and that's why we don't take every single trade. Like you're looking at this, if you're just looking at one time frame, oh, here we go, breaking out to the downside. That means we take the retest. I guess you could do that, but let's go a little further, right? We've learned so much about trend and momentum, supply and demand, support and resistance, looking at multiple time frames. Why are you going to look at just one time frame? Because it's simpler. It's a simpler strategy to understand. That's why beginners do that. That's what when you're, and I did it too. I searched the galaxy for a trading system that was used on one time frame to try to block out all the noise. It works and it doesn't work, right? So we know we've got something that works. Here's the forward tested results over the last 3 weeks. Okay. So we're on to something here, right? Right. So so just because you see or make an observation, right? Krishnan and I we were talking about this, about Australian dollar. Just because we see an observation doesn't mean it's part of a cohesive trade plan just yet, right? So people will make an observation and they'll say, oh yeah, I trade, the retest of the opening range, or I trade the breakout of the opening range every single time. Well, why don't we get a little bit more specific, right? Let's get a little more specific. Breakout of the opening range. Okay, I like that because it's on the chart every single day. So let's advance on that. How do we advance on that? Let's add some rules, right? We make some observations and we notice that if we have a breakout of the opening range to the downside, that means we want to be in a downtrend on the middle and high time frame. And it also means that we want to have momentum in our direction as well. So when trend and momentum on both time frames are in the same direction as the breakout, there you go. Then there's your trade. Oh, but Chris, this looks like it's working out just with momentum. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes it will, but we're looking for we're looking for the no-brainer trade. Oh, that's a good name. I like that. No-brainer trade. The no-brainer trade. I got to remember that. You want to stack the information on top of each other because you never know what's going to happen, right? So you want to have the strongest edge that you can possibly find. And that's why we put all this information together. That's what causes this, right? That's what makes this happen. That's what makes consistency happen. The problem that we have as retail traders is that we make a couple of observations, and maybe those trades that we observed worked out a couple of times in a row, and we say, oh, well, that's all we need. And then it fails. And so you say, well, maybe we need a little more information. And you notice after doing that over and over and over again, maybe like 1 or 2 years goes by, a couple of years go by, and you're like, I've seen this before. But here's what could happen, and that's when you start getting cautious after a couple of years of trading, right? Then you're like, wait a second, I've seen this happen before. What's missing? So now look at 5 years of making those observations, 6 years, 7 years of making observations like that. Unless you start doing this stuff early on, it's something you really have to experience before you start to employ it, before you start to adopt that mindset of being highly cautious. It's kind of like being traumatized almost, right? It's like if you live in a really terrible neighborhood, like let's say you live in the South Bronx or something, right? Or look at what happens when soldiers go to war. I was just watching Band of Brothers the other day, that HBO special. You're walking through a jungle, right? Enemy territory. You're going to be very cautious. You've got to adopt that same type. And Musashi talks about this in the Book of Five Rings, right? So you must become or practice as realistic as possible. And that means feeling it. You've really got to feel it. Whatever mindset you got to put yourself in. You're walking through enemy territory in a jungle, we better make sure we have all of our backup. Trend, okay, good. Multiple time frames, good. Momentums with, the momentum is like your armored tank division. The trend is like your infantry, these blockages in the road, the ADR checkpoints, these are, blockages or bad weather, like, all right, we've come into some bad weather here. Our food rations are down. We can't continue right now, so yes, let's see, what do we got here? 5-minute pivot placed on Globex. That means it is a reversal point. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Globex trap right here. That's right. Yeah. These are the, this is the low and the high of the Globex. And now we have to make sure, we've got to make sure, 5-minute. Yeah. Went up 5 waves on that 5-minute chart. Globex, here's the high, here's the low. And on the 5-minute chart here, 15, 30, 1 hour as well. Yeah, so on the 5-minute chart here's the pivot candle. Whoops. Right? And it didn't quite come back up and retest the high of the Globex. Pulled down, momentum is down, and it ripped through the low of the Globex here. Right? Now on the 15-minute chart, here, this whole thing is the pivot candle, in which case it did pull back in and retest that area and move down. Right, yeah. You'll never know, right? You'll never know. You would have to just say, just like we look at price action on the TrendCloud, Christian, right? It's like, okay, we don't know how far it's going to come into the TrendCloud on that particular time frame. Five-minute chart, it actually came through the TrendCloud and kept bouncing off of the 50. So it depends on what time frame you're looking at, but it's still, yeah, it's still relative. Can we take this as another confirmation to take the trade? If it pulls into that area, yeah, sure. It's kind of like taking the retest of the opening range, right? Or taking the retest of a TrendCloud signal. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So so take that Globex pivot point and just apply those TrendCloud elements to it, right? The TrendCloud rules, the same way that you would apply those rules to the opening range, right? So if you want to use the retest of the pivot point on Globex, right? Here's how you back test it. You look at it, you say, okay, it pulled into that 15-minute. Let's just go to the 15-minute chart here. Pulled into that 15-minute Globex right here. Okay. Take a vertical axis line, place it right there, and then take a look. So, with Globex, we've got it pulled back, hit that Globex pivot point in an uptrend, and cycling down momentum, mixed signals, right? So this worked, but it pulled into there on mixed signals. We pulled into this area in an uptrend. Momentum was up on the middle time frame, but momentum was down on the high time frame. So which one is it? Very, very difficult to tell. So you would want the pullback into the Globex to take place when those middle and high time frames were in a downtrend, right? Just put everything together. Downtrend high time frame, downtrend middle time frame, pulling back into the Globex pivot point. Okay. Now we're talking. Oh, and look at that. Momentum is down as it's pulling back into that pivot point. Start working it that way and see, back test it. How many times does that happen? Is it, are the pullbacks taking place in Globex like they do in a sideways movement? Maybe. When you're in a sideways movement, remember what happens? It throws a monkey wrench into a momentum-based trading system. And that's what TrendCloud is. It's a momentum-based trading system. So a sideways range, you simply are taking, you're simply taking the extreme levels, right? You've got these multiple points. So you would have to see if that Globex retest applies with the momentum and trend. Do we find that a lot? If you do, then you've got yourself an edge. Great question. Christian is putting together a trade plan that he wants to use on the Australian dollar and also with these Globex retests. So I'm really excited to see that. Really excited to see that, man. Now you guys, now you guys are thinking, you're getting in there and you're like, hey, I made these observations. I know how to put that trade plan together. This is the process. This is the process that leads to this, right? This is the hard work that you go through that leads to the consistent profits. Okay. And it's exciting, and when Christian is done with this, it's going to be his, the work that was put into this. How many people do that? So that's very exciting stuff. That's very exciting stuff. Good lesson. That's a real good lesson. Okay. So, breaking out, we're kind of sticking with gold today. We went off on, on a lesson rant, which is good for a Monday. And we were looking at reading price action, understanding how price moves within TrendCloud so that we can make these assessments and apply our trade plan successfully. And we can see that what's happening here on the opening range, right, with gold, on the opening range with gold, breaking out to the downside, and we're starting to break through structure here on the 1 hour. What happens if we get a crossover? Then if this continues down, right? If this continues down and gives us that TrendCloud crossover on the 1 hour chart, whoa, now we're in business. Now we've got the 1 hour trend, 1 hour momentum, high time frame momentum when we pull back for the retest. Now we've got maybe something like that, right? So do you see how we can do some forward thinking, and we can see this taking place before it happens. That's the point that you want to get to, right? You want to get to that point where how price moves throughout TrendCloud, and you're saying, okay, I can see now. If this just moves down a little bit further and we get that crossover, we'll have a downtrend on the low time frame, a downtrend on the middle time frame, and momentum across the board in our direction. That should be enough to take this trade short, right? So the only thing that would be missing would be, okay, well, the trend is still up on the 4 hour, but you're going to ride the momentum on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and the 1 hour downtrend now. So you see, when everything kind of comes into alignment, you'll start seeing it because you understand how price action moves. All right. As of right now, if this thing pulls back into this area, which it looks like it's doing, We just, you know, you're just going on momentum. And we like to filter our trades to the point where we've got trend and momentum across multiple time frames. Then we take the trade, right? Because situations like this, when you don't have trend and momentum across multiple time frames, you get whipsaw. It does a fake out. We want clean trend backed up by momentum. Then you've got something really powerful. Then you've got a powerful setup, right? And powerful setups lead to consistent profits. Powerful setups lead to consistent profits. Okay? $4,000 in the last 3 weeks. Okay? It's not $1 million, all right, but it is significant and it's consistent, and that's what we're all here for. We're here for consistency. We are here to build up a small account consistently. Consistently means you get to $1 million eventually, right? It doesn't mean you get to $1 million in a day. So that is a realistic viewpoint of profits and losses and consistently growing the account. All right. So we're getting that retest, but you know, we just don't have everything that we need, do we? Okay, let's go over to the indexes. Or let's do crude oil real quick. Go out to that 5-minute opening range and the 5-minute chart. Oops. 5-minute chart. All right. So what have we got here? Okay. All right. So we've got 4-hour chart. Trend is down. Where's it pulling back into? It's pulling back into TrendCloud, somewhere in here. That's what it wants to do, right? So what does that look like on the 1-hour chart? Well, that's a deep pullback to the 50. And momentum is up. So we're in a downtrend on the 4-hour chart, cycling up, which means we're correcting back up into TrendCloud. And momentum is also up. We're about to break above positive 100 on the 1-hour chart as well. So we have downtrend, the complete opposite of gold, right? We've got a downtrend, but momentum is up, and we're starting to, looks like it wants to break above that positive 100 there. Okay, mixed signals, and take a look at the opening range, right? Breaks to the upside, breaks to the downside, breaks to the upside. I don't want to be a part of that, right? This is what happens in mixed signals. So there you go. Mixed signals on trend and momentum across multiple time frames. You got an uptrend, but momentum is up, right? I mean, a downtrend, but momentum is up. You got an uptrend, but momentum is down. Mixed signals means whipsaw. Break to the upside, break to the downside, break to the upside. I don't want any part of that, right? We don't want any part of that. Let's go over to the indexes here. Micro S&P. Let's clear the chart. Okay, let's take a look at that high time frame. Well, very clear uptrend, right? A clear uptrend that pulled back not quite enough to get into that trend cloud. Pulls back, we're starting to cycle up, right? So the cycle indicator shows us impulse or correction, right? So this is an uptrend. cycle indicators pointing up. So we know we're in an impulse phase. Momentum looks like it's pulled back and wanting to, start to turn green again. So that's why this is important to be in alignment. Uptrend, cycling up, right? So we're starting to impulse back up. What happened here? We're getting those TrendCloud signals on the 1 hour chart which is also in an uptrend. Great, we love that. And we are starting to break above positive 100. We love it. We're loving this. We want to see this, right? We want to get above that positive 100 there. And then we can start looking for demand zones. Once we get above positive 100 on that middle time frame, we can start looking for demand zones. That could happen today, right? 15-minute chart. Let's take a look. What's going on? Recalculate. We form that opening range. And there we go. All right. So we're pulling back. We're pulling back. Maybe it wants to pull back to this consolidation here. Right? Consolidation. Looks like it retested this TrendCloud signal here that took place at 8 o'clock. All right. If this demand zone continues to work out and we get a move out of there, we can then take the retest of the opening range for that move up. See how we planned that? That's what we can do. It's all about planning your entry using the information that we're looking at right now. Uptrend, great. Cycling up, great. That gives us direction. Momentum, we're going to see momentum shift to the upside on that lower time frame first before it shifts here. Right? You will always get the trend reversal and the momentum shift on the lower time frames first. And that's what we're starting to see here. All right. Nice rejection. So this was a retest of the TrendCloud signal. We've noticed that works very well. If we get something that looks like this, if this candle continues up and we get that break above, look what we formed here. We formed a drop-based rally. Drop-based rally right in here. In which case, there's your zone for the retest. Let's see a nice break of structure here. Retest, hits that previous day's close, break above, right? That's how you have to draw this stuff constantly. That's how you draw all this stuff out. That's a great plan, right? Because by the time price pulls back into this demand zone, if it does, we will have trend and momentum on our side across multiple time frames. That's what we look for. That is what we look for. Trend and momentum across multiple time frames. If we don't do that, then we're just hoping that this thing works. We don't like that. We don't like that strategy. We don't like to, let's see. Well, I made this observation. I sure hope it works. You don't want that. You want you want to talk yourself through your trade plan as this thing is happening. Okay, I can see if we break to the upside here, we'll be above the opening range. We'll have momentum and trend on our side. Therefore, I can take this demand zone. That's a trade plan. That's what leads to this. Okay, that's why we're consistently profitable, because we follow a trade plan that we've put together. We've made all the observations. Then we did the back testing. Then we tweaked it a bit. That's the optimization part. Now we just got to stick with it, right? And because there are so many variables to observe, you may just make observations forever without writing a trade plan. Because look, right, variables are infinite. There are an infinite amount of variables. Well, this could happen. Yeah, but this could also happen. Look at how we broke out to the upside without any momentum, but the support level worked. There's an infinite amount of variables that could take place. You have to choose a system and put together a trade plan that has some of those observations, right? And apply it to an if-then statement. If price crosses above the trend cloud, then we take the pullback into the demand zone, but only if we have momentum and trend on our side across those multiple time frames. It's planned out. It's a plan. It's a plan, and it works. And there's your proof right there. Right? Beautiful trade there on what was that, natural gas, right? And that's what happens. Small loss, small win, small loss, big win, right? Small loss, big win. Professional traders and, authors of these, books and stuff, they all say it's not about the win-loss ratio. It's about the magnitude of the win and the magnitude of the loss that keeps you in the game and keeps you profitable, right? And that is the truth. That is the truth. And we see it, right? We're seeing it now live, right? So, so that is the lesson for today, guys. Great job. Everything's working out well. Little over $4,000 in the last 3 weeks from following a system that has rules, right? So I'll be looking at, I'm going to be observing this micro S&P because we've got everything on our side here, right? Trend is up across multiple time frames, and we're pulling back into some support. And you can see, if you look at your 1 hour CCI, it just peaked above positive 100, and now it's coming back down because this candle has to close. All right, so at the top of the hour, it's 10 a.m. When that 10 a.m. candle closes, so at 11 a.m., we'll see where we're at on that CCI. That CCI indicator will be either above or below positive 100. All right, but it looks like it's all going in our direction. All right. All right, I'm going to finish editing a couple of videos, and then I'm going to send everybody out that mini course. Take a look at it. It's a great refresher for you guys. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. All right. All right, everybody. Take care. I will see you guys tomorrow.